Hello, this is Charles. We are doing a tutorial on PowerPoint. This is actually going to be a series, and this is the first tutorial. So, first things first, you're going to go over to the Start button. I have mine on the left, and yes, I'm doing this in Windows 10 operating PowerPoint 2016. So, you're going to click Start. You're going to click All Apps, and you're going to scroll down to where it says where the letter P is, and then you're going to find PowerPoint 2016. Click that. You're going to notice the starting screen start right up here. If you have add-ins, they're going to load in, and then you're going to get this screen. Over on this side, you're going to have a whole list of PowerPoints you've previously opened if you've ever used the application before. And on this part, you're going to have all of the application of the new PowerPoint templates that you can use to create a new PowerPoint. However, we are just going to start with a blank presentation, so click there. It'll load you up the presentation. And okay, that's my other add-in, and I'm actually going to have to start a new presentation because of that, and that's how you do it. So what we're going to start is an introduction basically to the PowerPoint layout. Okay, so first thing you're always going to want to do is go into the File menu, or actually just here, click the Save button. Now, in 2016, I have the option to click Browse, so I will do that, and I can save it into my documents as sample.01. And then I'll hit Enter, and it'll save, and you'll see the title up here at the top. Now, let's go in order with the tabs. First, you have the File tab. When you click on that, you're going to get a whole bunch more tabs. First one is Info. The Info tab will give you options such as protecting your presentation. You can mark it as final, and it'll make it read-only. Encrypt it with a password, which will make a password required to open it. Restrict access, which you have to connect to right to management servers for, and adding digital signature. Now, most people will use one of the first two, mark as final or encrypt with password. However, you have to be very careful encrypting a PowerPoint with password. If you encrypt it with a password and you later on forget the password, the file is completely trash. PowerPoint will not allow you to open this without the password. So don't click that unless you are absolutely sure you're going to remember the password. You have the New tab. Now, the New tab will allow you to create a new presentation. You have many options, and a lot of these are from office.com. Now, if you want to find a template, let's just say a business template. Oh, it's right here. So you can click that, and it'll look up business templates, and you can create one just by selecting it, and all you have to do is select it and then hit the Create button. Now, you can hit the Open tab. That will give you the option to open up a previously created PowerPoint. Now, you have these wonderful PowerPoints here, which I've previously created, and those are there for use. You have your OneDrive here, okay, which will allow you to open up your personal documents stored on the Microsoft server. This PC, which is basically just that, add a place in the cloud, but generally you can use Browse, and that will allow you to select whichever PowerPoint you want by going through all of your documents or flash drives if you use them. However, we are going to close this, and in Office 2013, you have instead in this PC, it'll give you a couple of folders and then have an option there to browse. Now, the Save tab, we're not going to click on that because that'll just save the document, but whenever you click that, it will take all of the edits you've made to the PowerPoint and it will save it. That way, you won't lose them. The Save As tab will allow you to save it wherever you want. You can save the PowerPoint as a new file. If I do that, it will create a second file. However, if you save a document as something else, that is the document you are using. The previous document, if you had opened it from elsewhere, has not been touched. Nothing's happened to that. It's fine. Now, print. So, we have this wonderful print tab, which will allow for us to go and print your PowerPoint out. Right now, it's showing nothing because we haven't typed anything into the general PowerPoint. So, nothing's going to show up here. However, when you have created your PowerPoint, it will show you what you've created. And it'll tell you how many pages there are, and you can choose how many to print. You can choose the print one-sided or print both-sided option, which is only applicable if your printer can physically do that. Otherwise, it'll give you an option of, let's just say, select a different one. And no, that doesn't work. Okay. Yeah. So sometimes it'll say manually redo on both sides, which if you know how to do is wonderful, but if you do not know how to do that, then don't bother. Now, collated. If you're printing out multiple copies, you can have it collate them. So if you have a 5-page, or let's say you have a 3-page PowerPoint, right? 3 slides. And you print them single-sided. If they're collated and you're printing out 5 copies of it, it'll print out slides 1, 2, and 3 5 times. If you were to uncollate them, it'll print out 5 copies of slide 1, 5 copies of slide 2, and 5 copies of slide 3. Most printers, however, will reverse the order so that it'll have a pile of documents there just ready for you to pick up, and you don't have to shuffle them from front to back again to reverse the entire file order. Because the software actually thinks, the designers of the software think to, what do you call it? They think to make sure that you're not going to have to go through 5 minutes of taking that 50-page document and shuffling it from, or reversing the order of all the pages because it printed out page 1 to start off with. However, enough of that. Share. This is for if you have a OneDrive location, or you can email it, which will generally use Outlook. If you have that application present online, you do need to have a Microsoft account to do this. As it says right here, you'll need a Microsoft account to start the online presentation. Okay? And, of course, you can enable remote viewers to download the presentation as well. And you can publish the slides. Now, export. Okay? With export, you can create a PDF or an XPS document here, which makes it harder to change. It's really hard to. Create a video, which will basically start your PowerPoint presentation, and you can record audio if you have a microphone. So you can basically talk during the entire slide. And while you're talking, and it'll record all of that and end up creating a video with all of your timings, and with all of the timings stuck. And it's easy to play if you have a computer that does not have PowerPoint on it. You can package the presentation for a CD. Okay? This way you can use the entire presentation without all of the other software. without PowerPoint to be able to look at it. Now, create handouts. This will basically make a Word document containing your slides and notes, or you can just have the slides on it or just the notes on it. But use this if you're enabling people to take notes on it, if it's that kind of presentation. And you can change the file type. Okay, and there's presentation, which is PPTX. That requires Office 2007 or newer. PowerPoint 97 through 2003 presentations will open on any version of PowerPoint. Open document presentation, you use this if you want to save something for someone who has Open Office or LibreOffice, because that's the format they use. Template, that'll make it a starting point for all of the new presentations. However, you'd have to save it as the default for it to be the automatic template. PowerPoint show, that's a newer file that you do need 2007 for, or newer. That way, it'll automatically start it as a slideshow. You won't have the option to edit it. And when you end it, it will close PowerPoint. You won't be able to change it very easily. Okay? You have PowerPoint picture presentation, which will basically make all of the slides into pictures. And that's what these two are as well, except they create quality, supposedly, quality images of each of the slides. Or you can always save as another file type, which will give you a whole menu. And the close button there will automatically close PowerPoint, so don't click on that unless you're ending the application account. This just shows you the details, and it'll tell you if it's activated or not, your Office background and such. And options will open up a whole list of other settings, but most people don't change these, so I'm not going to go into detail here. Now, time to go into the wonderful Home tab. When you click on here to add something, now all of a sudden everything's coming to light here. Okay? You have paste options here, which are standard. You can paste the destination theme. Okay, keep source formatting and keep text only. Okay, so we can type in sample. Now, you can use that now. I just copy that over. I can paste it to keep the source formatting, or I can copy and paste. I can have it paste as a picture so that it's an added picture. It's not text. You can't edit it. Okay? Then I just hit the delete key, get rid of that. New slide. If you click this button, it will automatically create a new slide in this format, or whatever one's the last format you physically selected in the menu here. Here you have standard, choose whatever font you want to use. You have font size here. This button will make the font larger. This one makes it smaller. Okay, this one clears all of the formatting, and generally if you hover over options, it'll automatically tell you what the option is, so I'm not going to necessarily go into depth on all of these. But yeah, these are other options for text. Strike through. You have character spacing, how far you're on in between letters. Change case. This allows you to make everything sentence case. Lowercase, uppercase. This will make it like a standard sentence. This will make it all lowercase. This will make it all uppercase, like holding caps lock down, except if you forgot to do that, it's an easy fix. Capitalize each word, which will take every single word you have that you have highlighted, and it will capitalize it. And toggle case, I don't use that very much, but evidently it's just as it hints out. It's the opposite of what you have. Okay, now this is text color, which will give you whole options of colors. You have a bunch of settings here, which are how you want it aligned. So if you want it to the left, you can do that. You can have it brought to the center. You can have it go to the more towards the right, and you can just have it try and justify itself, which means if it goes into multiple lines, it'll look perfectly aligned on both the left and the right side. And you can make multiple columns here. indent. You can indent stuff, add bulleted lists. You can add shapes, arrange stuff. You have basically quick ways to make art or in drawing the slides and editing is just find replace. So if you know where you were supposed to type from, you accidentally ended up typing from in the entire document, you can click that and you type in what you accidentally typed, and then you type in the correction, and it will automatically change it for you. Okay? Now, if you hit match case, like you only want, you know that you capitalize the ones you wanted to change, then it will automatically handle that for you. I'm just going to close that down. The Insert tab. You have new slides. This is basically everything you can insert into a PowerPoint presentation. Okay? You have Table, which will allow you to add in a table to your wonderful PowerPoint. Pictures. That will open up a new box. That'll open up a Insert Picture box where you can select the picture you want to insert. Okay? You have Online Pictures, which uses Bing. You can take a screenshot of any window that's open. You have Photo Album, so you can create a beautiful presentation, supposedly. That's another feature I don't tend to use. You have Shapes, Smart Art, which is basically little graphs. Okay? If you click on that, you have tons of different stuff like flow charts, processes, cycles, hierarchy, the relationships, matrices, pyramids, and pictures, and you can go and choose some from office.com. And I'm going to click cancel to get rid of that. You can use the add-ins if you have them installed or get them. You can install an hyperlink, which will basically a online link that will be found that you could type in online into one of your web browsers, whether it be Chrome, Firefox, Internet Explorer, Safari. You can type that in the address bar and then tell it the text to display so that people can click on it and it'll go into their web browser, their preferred web browser, and it'll open that up. And after you open it up, it's just something you use if you want to link in something that you found online into your presentation. You can do this with pictures too by clicking on them and going and clicking hyperlink. And you're just going to close this. Okay. Action, which is another thing I don't really use much, but it'll allow you to have hyperlinks to different slides, which is how they create Jeopardy games in PowerPoint. Okay, so you have comment, which is add a note about part of the document you're on. You can add in a text box, which is another place you can add text in. Header and footer, more commonly used in Word, but it will add in stuff like date and time on the top and bottom of the slide. You can add a slide number in and a footer, which you type in the text here. Okay, and you can tell it not to show on the title slide. We're just going to hit X here because we didn't want to do that. You can install word art, which is basically fancy letters and words. You can have a date and time put in. Okay, you have slide numbers you can insert. You can have it insert an object, symbols. Okay, so say you want to insert. Let's just use as an example, copyright symbol. Okay, click that, and then you hit insert, and then you can hit close. And as you can see right there, it's inserted. However, we're just going to backspace that out. Okay, you can put video, choosing whether from online or on your PC, audio, which is either audio you have on your computer or audio that you have elsewhere, or actually audio. And this one is the record audio button, which will allow you to use a microphone if you have it built in your computer to record audio that you have, or you can set it to record what your computer is currently playing. The screen recording will allow you to install a recording of your screen, but that's only because I have a special add-in in. So you won't see that on your version of PowerPoint. Whatever year it is, it's not going to appear there. Design. This allows you to make your slides look fancy. If you want to show off, hey, look what I created, you have all these wonderful options. Okay? You can have it create little feather thingies. This design. And there are different designs whether you want to be playful or if you want to be serious, like a business presentation. They make the different designs. And you can have it look for a theme document. Oops, didn't want to do that. Okay. I should enable that. I don't know if it'll show you, give you the option to do that on your year of PowerPoint or whichever version of PowerPoint you're running. But I don't get it, which may be because I'm not the administrator on the computer. Well, yes, I am, but this account is limited because I don't want to. I only have one account that'll let you install anything onto the computer for security purposes. But that's off topic. This will allow you to change colors and such. So you can change the color after you choose your preferred theme. So you can make it take on a whole nother tone, as you can see carries into all the slides as a beautiful theme. Okay? Now, you can change the slide size, which widescreen is the new default. However, versions of Office, such as any version of Office 2010 and earlier, will have a standard 4:3. Okay? Now, you have two options if you want to change your slide size. So you could do that. And you can always change it back. Because widescreen is how a lot of things are getting to be nowadays, not square screen. Ever since TV started becoming more of a widescreen type, and they said, hey, we're going to have to change something. So it really depends on how you want your PowerPoint to end up being and how you're going to be displaying it if you're showing it off. Transitions. This is the difference. This is how it will change slides from one slide to another. So on slide 1, it will change from black to whatever you have here. And you have these wonderful options which really depend on which version of PowerPoint you have. 2016 has all of the fancy ones. However, as you start getting older with your versions of PowerPoint, you will also start to lose some of these. Okay? So curtains is one of the ones that only appears in 2013. However, that one will look better after slide 1, not on slide 1, because you can't see the texture as easily. Sorry. Now, one of my favorites. Let's see. To start off with, this one looks beautiful. Vortex. Okay. However, we could go on all day about which ones you think look beautiful, but that'll change it so that when you click this button, which will put you into slideshow, which I'll explain later, it'll start your animation. Okay, now you can hit the escape key on your keyboard and that will exit it for you. Now, you can add sound into your PowerPoint so that you can, let's just say, have applause here. Okay, now you can hit F5. And I don't know if you can hear it or not, but it'll play a sound onto your speakers. Okay? Now, animations. This allows you to mess around with the way these look like. So that'll change it. So when you make your PowerPoint start off with, it won't appear right off the bat. When you move on to the next slide, it'll show you that. Okay? Then you can use the arrow keys to control it. But slideshow lets you physically change the settings of the slideshow. Okay, if you hit hide slide, that means when you're actually presenting this, you can click it right now and edit it, but it'll treat it as a non-existent slide. It'll pretend it's never there when you actually go to present. Once you go into PowerPoint mode, that slide will be non-existent. However, once you leave that mode, it will show up again. This is what you'll do if you want to delete a slide but you want it to still be there. Okay? Review. This lets you change lots of stuff. Okay? You can have spelling checks, thesaurus, all these wonderful settings. Inking is just basically drawing on your computer screen. I'm lucky I have a touch screen, so I can draw it quite easily. But I've been not using the mouse. I've been using the mouse instead of the touch screen most of the time, just because you can see the cursor. Once I start using my finger, you can't see the cursor as easily. Okay? Now, you can hit the eraser tab, which yes is here, and you can start collectively erasing it all. Okay? Now, you hit the stop inking button when you're done. Okay? Now, I missed a spot. I can go back in there and I hit stop inking. That'll end it. Now, go back into review, and now we move on to view. You can change out the way PowerPoint looks for you. This is the way it looked earlier. I mean, we're talking about 2003 and 2000 and earlier. This is the way they looked. You have the slide sorter, which will allow you to view all of the slides like this. We have a notes page, which is basically the export into a note, and you have reading, which will show you. It's basically the PowerPoint, except not in the full screen PowerPoint. Okay? I'm going to hit cancel because I did not want to do that. And I can go back here, but I like normal, which is how it will show up by default. You can change it to grayscale or complete black and white. Okay? Now you can go, let's see, back to the view tab and go back to color to handle that. But when you click that, it's going to show you an entire other tab. Okay? The best part about this is it will allow you to see how it would look if you're printing it out. Set it so that if you're making it just to print out and you only have a black and white printer, or you only want to print it in black and white, it'll allow you to make it look good in only black and white. Okay? I'm going to hit back to color view, and that'll get rid of that tab. Okay? Now you can create a new window, which is PowerPoint. Now this allows you to easily change between PowerPoint applications if you have multiple of them open. And macros is just, what do you call it? I don't use this one. See a list of macros. Oh, let's see. Tell me more. You can click that on any option. When you hover over the option, it'll give you that. Okay? Now, PowerPoint 2016. Okay? It may be able to tell you what they are more easily than I could. Okay? Add-ins, which is if you have applications that have a PowerPoint add-in. You have to get them, but they'll not come preloaded onto your computer or with PowerPoint. It's applications that do have programs that will coexist with PowerPoint and that install themselves into PowerPoint. However, when you uninstall that application that has the add-ins or tell it not to, it will remove the add-in coding from there. Storyboarding is it's just allowing you to create a storyboard in PowerPoint. Okay, if you know what storyboarding is, and yay, I've created this nice little wheel. Okay, in storyboard shapes, you can create pretty much everything. Wow. It comes with a web browser and the start menu and everything to create. Wow. And by wow, I mean it's all Microsoft stuff. Okay, I'm going to hit X to get rid of that toolbar. And you have this little tab that if you want to figure out something, if you think PowerPoint can do it, you can type it in there, such as, let's just say you want to insert chart. Type in insert chart. and it will tell you. You can add a chart. It'll put the available options that relate to what you just searched in order of greatest relevance. Okay, and if they're grayed out, that means that the option is physically in PowerPoint, but you can't use it right now. Now that we've covered all of this wonderful part of PowerPoint, now it's time to go into the surrounding part of it and the physical viewer, or the physical PowerPoint viewer. Excuse me. Okay, so here you have, it'll just tell you slide 1 of 2, how many slides there are and what slide you're on. Click this button. If it shows you a book with a check mark, that means there are no grammar errors. Okay, click that. It'll tell you your spell check's complete and you're fine. However, let's watch this. I'm going to type in Microsoft spelled incorrectly. Okay, notice it'll automatically add the uppercase. Oh, now watch this. It's all of a sudden red underlined, and this little book here changes to an X. So you're going to go, and you can either click that, and it'll open up a whole new toolbar for spelling and such. Or you can, if you notice it, you can just right-click it, and it'll give you what options it thinks, what it thinks you meant to spell it as. Now, sometimes you'll spell words right, but it'll red underline it because it's not in the dictionary, such as your last name, or if you have a different enough name or out of this world kind of name, then you'll have a wonderful Microsoft. Then it'll tell you right here that you can use this here to, what do you call it? I don't know exactly how to explain this, but it'll give you an option to add to dictionary, which will add what it thinks is a misspelling to its internal dictionary, I believe, to your entire computer. So only click that if you never want to see your last name or whatever it is misspelled again, if you're absolutely certain you spelled it right. But right-click it first. When you right-click it, just look on the spelling options to see if maybe you did spell it wrong. Because if you accidentally add the incorrect definition into the dictionary, it won't red underline it when you mistype it. And then it will, if you mistype it again in the future, say for professional PowerPoint, it won't red underline it. And you won't know that you made the mistake. Okay, notes. This allows you to add notes that are available in the presenter view of PowerPoint. Comments, you can create comments and such. Okay, this is just the slide changer. So you can have this. Excuse me. You have the normal presentation, the normal way PowerPoint is. Slide sorter view. This is basically the view tab, but it's just easier to access without switching tabs. Okay, you have, reading view, which is, it's basically the presentation, but not the presentation. And you have a slideshow, which will make the entire, which is basically like pressing F5. Yes, that's a keyboard shortcut. F5 will bring you there, so why don't we do that? Okay, hit F5, and if you have sound effects and such, which you might be able to hear playing, it'll give you that title. Now, if you go down to the bottom, you'll notice there are these little options there, very faded out. Okay, click this button, show presenter view. If you have your computer, say, is a laptop, and you have it hooked up to a projector, it will do this by default. And this way you can view notes that I pointed out before in the physical PowerPoint application. And you can use a virtual laser pointer on the screen, which once you're in this part will show on the projector, or if you have it hooked up to a TV, it'll show on the TV. Once you move out of there, it will show a regular arrow. And if you need to be able to see it from far away, you can raise these notes bigger or smaller. Sorry for the quick change of topic. It'll tell you what time it is here. Okay, and it'll tell you what you have next. Okay, you can click these little buttons. And the slideshow, it'll tell you. You can change to a slide sorter. Now, the red boxed one is the slide that everyone is seeing right now. They will not see the screen. That's the most wonderful part about presenter view. The only way they can see the screen is if you type it in there. You can even show hidden slides if you want to use them during your presentation. Okay? If you don't want them to appear in there unless you absolutely need them, then you use them. Okay? Or if you're on slide 30 something and you need to go back to slide 3, you can use that. Now, as you go on, it'll say end of slideshow and generally click to exit, and boom, you're back in the application. So it'll show your name up there and such. Okay? Share button, which is if you save it to your OneDrive, if you have a Microsoft account, and want others to be able to edit or view it. So that's the way to do it, built in from PowerPoint. And I believe I've given you the entire rundown of PowerPoint. Now, when you're done, you can close it. However, always save it first. Okay? And that'll save it. Here's the undo button. Here's the redo button. If you undo something, then you want to do it back again, that's where you click. That's where you go into slideshow from beginning. And this is just mouse versus touch. If you have a touchscreen computer, that option will be there because it makes all of the buttons more spaced. So if I were to click mouse, all of a sudden it makes the slide bigger and all of these controls smaller. But in touch mode, it'll space it out better to be more adapted to the touchscreen. Okay? So once we're done with that, then we're just going to exit out of it, and you are done. Thank you. Thank you for tuning into this video, and I am Charles from Charles and J Productions signing off. Thank you. This video tutorial was created by Charles from Charles and J Productions. Please remember that this copyrighted video is owned by Charles and J Productions. Copyright 2016. All rights reserved. See the video description for more details.